40 was dazed and had lost track of how many hours had passed, but he was still aware that he had been kidnapped while fucking a girl he could barely remember in a hotel. Where was some help? There should be a goddamn superhero saving the day by now, he thought. But 40 knew he wasn't getting no help. That bitch, fucking trick-ass bitch, got me set the fuck up. 40 swore on his life that her ass would see no more sunshine if he got the fuck out on the streets. He would hunt her down to the ends of the earth if necessary. As he sat in the dark listening to his stomach growling, wondering what the fuck was going on, 40 thought about what was going to happen next. His mind scrambled as he tried to remember the specific details. His heart raced as he thought of his girl, Sharon. Any other time, she would call the police on him. Now was the time. Where was Rick? Where was his peoples with the army brigade ready to battle and get him out of there? It was like that when you hustle for a nigga like Rick. The door opened, and a tall, skinny guy wearing a ski mask walked down the stairs and threw 40 a bag with a sandwich and a soda in it. When 40 was finished, Sam tied him back up and left the basement. 40 was hurting. He couldn't believe that he had been kidnapped. Deep down inside, he had a feeling he wasn't going to make it. 40's girlfriend was crying. She had been crying since he left the house, and her ass at home with the kids like he always did. Their 3 sons didn't enjoy Christmas Day at all without their daddy there. 40's mother had called the police, but they couldn't take a missing persons report for 48 hours. However, the officers made an exception because of Christmas and told his mother 24 hours. Damn, you call 911 and they tell you to call back, 40's mom said with a disgust slamming down the phone. Sharon called everybody she could think of. Everybody said the same thing. He was at a party last night, but no one she talked to knew where he was. Sharon had called the police, the roundhouse, all the hospitals. It was as if 40 had dropped off the planet. All the times his black ass didn't come home and all the times he lied about where he was, there was nothing that Sharon wouldn't give to see him walk through the door. She'd be so glad he was home and that she wouldn't even be mad. That's just how bad she wanted her man back. His mother and father, on the other hand, knew something was wrong. Mom knew her son. There was no way her son wouldn't show up on Christmas Day. No way at all. The following day, the police came out to the house and took a missing persons report. 40 was hurting, physically and mentally. His body was numb from sitting for such a long time. If he could just have a stretch, that's all he wanted to do, is just stretch. Suddenly, he had company. Yo, nigga, you up? A familiar voice. 40 knew that voice, but he couldn't place it. You ready to go? The ski mask asked. You ready to go? The ski mask asked. But 40 didn't answer. The blow to his midsection got his attention, giving him time to get his wind back and focus on his options. Let's try this shit again, motherfucker. You ready to go? 40 considered. Why didn't he see the shit before? How did he let it happen? He slipped up and let the motherfuckers catch his ass out there. How stupid could he be? I'm ready to go. Bitch ass nigga, shut the fuck up. You ready to go when I say so, said the man in the mask, giving him a swift but forceful smack to the head. 40 sat there seriously trying to figure out who the fuck was talking to him. I want $1 million and then I will let you go. You only get one phone call. You get that person to get the money and take it to the Springdale Mall at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. There will be a yellow school bus in the parking lot. All they gotta do is put the money in the school bus, you understand? Because if they don't, then it's your time to die, nigga. You're not confused about none of this, are you? No, man, I'm not confused. What's the number? Still tied up with the phone held at his ear, 40 asked for Charlie when a girl answered the phone. Yo, man, your girl called and said you didn't come home. Listen, I need $1 million put on a yellow school bus in the Springdale parking lot at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, 40 said. Beware of the man in the checkered suit. The iguana has landed to you too, motherfucker, Charlie joked. I'm serious. I've been kidnapped. You gotta help me, 40 said, seriously. What? Charlie said, realizing his buddy wasn't playing. Man, you only got till 9 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. Put the $1 million on the school bus at the Springdale Mall, 40 said as Jarrell hung up the phone. Hello? 40, Charlie said frantically as the dial tone rang in his ear. He hung up the phone, thought for a moment, and turned to his companion for the evening. Come on, you gotta go. She protested a little, so he dragged her by the arm. Get dressed, you gotta go, come on. Fuck you, Charlie. Where's my money? Bitch, you gets nothing. I'm having a crisis, and I need you to get away from me so I can solve it. He spoke with sincerity in every word. He gave her $50, and she was pissed. No, you didn't. No, you didn't play me for no paper and be so small about it with your little dick self, she hollered, expecting to get her usual $3.50. Bitch, you is a flea. Here's another 50. Did you hear me say I'm having a crisis? He angrily pushed her out the door before slamming it in her face. Charlie got on the phone and immediately called Rick. Rick could not believe it. He knew who had his peoples, and he knew why. Ever since Quadir stopped serving the city, Jarrell had been coming at him instead of Quadir. Quadir never took care of no serious business. Quadir let Jarrell push him out the game by killing all the people who bought hundreds of kilos a month from him. But Reek wasn't giving up nothing. He was coming to fuck up in a major way and had just started to come into some serious paper like Quadir. He wasn't going out like no sucker. He sat back and listened carefully as Charlie told him about the phone call from 40. Reek already knew something was going on when Sharon paged him talking about, "Where's my man? I know he fucking some bitch with you, Reek." Reek did everything but hang up on her. He sent Charlie over to Sharon's to explain what was happening. Then Reek hung up the phone. There was no problem putting together $1 million. 40 was worth $1 million, so paying the money wasn't a problem. Within minutes, a dozen phones were ringing off the hook, and the city's Ghetto Gazette flashed the news headline that 40 had been kidnapped by the Junior Mafia. Reek called Quadir and told him what was happening. "How much?" asked Quadir. $1 million. "You got it?" asked Quadir, ready to put up the paper. "Yeah, of course. It's just that there's no guarantee in a situation like this." Reek and Charlie drove toward the Springdale Mall with a duffel bag placed on the back seat containing the $1 million requested for 40. All the while, Reek warned Charlie that if it was a setup, to take no prisoners. Entering the Springdale Mall parking lot, Reek could see the yellow school bus parked in the corner off in the distance. He sped in its direction. Reaching the bus, he circled the entire area. There were a few cars parked in a lot off in the distance, but the bus stood out alone. Reek pulled up to the side of the bus. Charlie emerged from the car with a duffel bag of money in one hand and his hammer in the other. The double doors of the bus were slightly open. There was enough space for Charlie to push the doors. Taking his first step onto the bus, he pointed his hammer in the direction of the bus seats. He was ready to lay anybody down that popped out at him. He placed the duffel bag on the floor of the bus. Then he carefully pushed it with his foot down the aisle past the first row of seats. Then he exited the bus, pulling the doors back how he found them. With the task complete, everybody sat back and waited for a phone to ring with the news 40 was home. The following morning, a yellow school bus pulled up on the 1300 block of Conestoga Street and parked down the block. Rand stepped up from the bus with $1 million in a duffel bag. He went inside. "The nice thing about this is that everybody got what they wanted. I got the money and you get to go home. I say it's time to celebrate, don't you?" 40 couldn't see him because he was still wearing a ski mask. Jarrell directed Sam to untie 40 from the chair, but to leave his hands tied. 40 was barely able to stand. He'd been tied up so long. It sure felt good to get up out of that chair. Once he felt a little bit of strength coming back into his body, he knew he would be alright. Then he welcomed his anger. Looking like an old man with arthritis, 40 turned on Sam, and with all his strength, threw his hand tied around Sam's head and yanked off the ski mask. "Sam?" he said as he watched Jarrell remove his ski mask. Then Rand did the same. 40 was livid. "You fucked up when you kidnapped me. You know you not getting away with kidnapping me and taking my $1 million. Nigga, I already did. You think you did. This shit ain't never gonna be over. So go ahead, kill me, motherfucker," 40 said, already knowing they were gonna do that. "Pussy, take that," said Jarrell, shooting him in his right leg. "I already did get away with taking your $1 million. I got it right here." The bullet ripped through his flesh as his body dropped to the floor. "I wish I knew you were the one behind this, cause you was never seeing no paper from me." "Man, fuck you." "Nigga, fuck you too," said 40, as another explosion tore into his other leg. The pain was agonizing, leaving him screaming and reaching for his other leg. Jarrell shot him again, getting his arm. "You wouldn't have paid if you knew it was me." Pow with the gun as Jarrell shot him in the other arm. "See, baby, I'm running this shit, and you or nobody else can stop me," said Jarrell as he circled 40's body. "Fuck you," 40 rasped as he laid on the basement floor. Insane with anger now, Jarrell shot again, getting him in the chest. Then he stood over 40. "Say your prayers, nigga," he said, and put the gun right between his eyes and squeezed the trigger, just as 40 tried to duck. The bullet fired and grazed to the side of his head, taking him out. Realizing 40 was dead, Jarrell jumped back into the reality of having $1 million. "Let's get the fuck out of here. We'll come back tonight and take care of the body," said Rand. "Yeah, we can dump that nigga right there in the Schuylkill River," Jarrell sneered. "Come on, let's go." After going about their regular business for hours, that is, hitting their regular customers, Rand and Sam pulled on Conestoga Street at 2 o'clock in the morning. Yellow police tape was everywhere. "Stay here," said Rand. He got out of the truck and went up on the porch. Blood was everywhere. He pushed open the unlocked door and went inside, and there was more. It looked like a paint roller had made a trail from the basement. "I don't fucking believe this," he panted, running out and pulling the door shut behind him. "I don't fucking believe it. Get Jarrell on the phone." They would find out later that a neighbor had looked out his window thinking he heard shots, but didn't call the police. When 40 dragged himself onto the porch and the man saw his bloody body, he then called the police. 40 laid alone on the porch until they arrived. No one came to assist. No one even put a blanket over him. 40 laid there dying in the winter cold all alone until the ambulance arrived to take him to a nearby hospital. The police had searched the house, dusted for fingerprints, and left about 40 minutes before Rand and Sam arrived to take 40's body away. "Shit, Jarrell gonna be mad as shit. We gotta call him," said Rand. "We gotta call him." Sam found a payphone and pulled the Cherokee over so Rand could call Jarrell. The phone rang. A few seconds later, a girl answered. "Yo," said Rand. "Hello," said the girl. "Who this?" Rand asked. "This is Val, Jarrell's sister. This is Rand. Where he at?" "They got him." "Who?" "The police. They came and arrested him." "What for?" "Attempted murder and kidnapping." "Oh, shit. They say he tried to kill some guy, Christopher Cole." "Who's Christopher Cole?" "That's the boy 40, said Rand. "I gotta go," he said, and hung up the phone. He knew that he and Sam would now have to find some place to stay, since the police were probably looking for them too. Rand went straight across the bridge and into New Jersey. He did not pass go, and he did not collect $200. He went straight to New Jersey.